Hey, friends, I have a really interesting topic for you today. We're going to start with a couple of questions. What is something that is consumed by 283 million Americans to the tune of 2.7 billion boxes per year and $11 billion a year? You might be surprised to discover that it's breakfast cereal. Although apparently, according to the manufacturers, breakfast cereal isn't just for breakfast anymore. And there are some other really startling facts that come out of looking at breakfast cereal. One is that the amount of cereal consumed in America accounts for 816 million pounds of sugar per year. And kids' cereals have even more sugar than adult cereals. Typically, they have 40% more cereal than the cereals aimed towards adults. The number one cereal that Americans love, Honey Nut Cheerios, go figure. And there are more than 1,000 brands of cereal out there. I was really startled to read some of the information in the news lately about cereals and how much Americans consume. So I decided to do a little experiment of my own. And I reached out to a bunch of people in my local area and said, hey, give me your cereal boxes. Like, I want to see what you're eating. Funny enough, we didn't get any Honey Nut Cheerios. So apparently in my neighborhood, that's not popular. We did get a whole bunch of different cereals, and I thought I would take a minute just to go through these boxes and labels with you and talk with you about what we're looking at when we look at cereals. So in no particular order, number one, somebody shared a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch with me. And so I highlighted a few things on the label. I'd like to point out, when you read the label, the most important part is this part right here, and you'll see why when we go through it. These have the new label, so it tells you how much per serving and how much if you add milk to it. I'm looking at just the cereal, not the milk. And so for Cinnamon Toast Crunch, they're claiming that one serving is 1 cup. And I don't really know anybody who measures their cereal. I think a lot of people tend to go and pour into a bowl. They figure out how hungry they think they are. They add milk and a spoon, and then they just eat it. When it comes to the nutrition facts on the label, you do need to measure, though, because otherwise, if you add more than 1 cup to the bowl, all these other numbers are off. They're wrong. We're going to assume that you ate what they say is a serving size. And for Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it turns out there are 12 grams of sugar in this box. All 12 grams are added sugars. There are no naturally occurring sugars in here. And I wanted to point out that when we look at the ingredient panel, we see sugar, fructose, maltodextrin, and dextrose, all of which are forms of sugar. So they have multiple kinds of sugar. That means they don't have to put sugar as the number one ingredient because they broke it up. There's also a couple of other things in here that make this not really a great choice. If you've been following me for a while, you know I am not a fan of canola oil. I think it's not a great choice for a lot of different reasons, but mostly because it tends to be highly genetically modified, which means it comes with a lot of glyphosate, which is not good for your gut. This also has caramel color, which is a known carcinogenic ingredient. It can cause cancer. It also tends to have red number 40, yellow number 5, blue number 1, artificial colors in Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Isn't that interesting? Because it doesn't look very colorful. And we should not be eating those. And then it also has BHT. And BHT is a highly inflammatory ingredient. It's a preservative. And there are a lot of studies that show that it can be linked to allergy and asthma. It does tend to appear quite heavily in cereals. So I would like to encourage you to make sure that you are looking for it and don't buy anything that has that in it. Now, in order to make space on my desk, I stacked some of the boxes inside each other. And again, this is in no particular order. So next we have organic Raisin Bran. And I will tell you, when I was a kid, Raisin Bran was one of my favorite cereals. I liked all those little raisins. And then, of course, I added sugar to it. Not a great choice. So this is also 1 cup per serving. This also has 12 grams of sugar per serving. However, only 4 grams of sugar are added sugars. So the rest of them are in there because of the raisins. And in the sugar category here, we see 1 sugar-laden ingredient, which is organic raw cane sugar. And then actually we see 2, sorry, there's organic barley malt extract. That is another name for a type of sugar. So there are 2 kinds of sugar in here, plus there are the raisins, which of course are a form of sugar. Raisins as a dehydrated or dried fruit have concentrated sugars in them. So another one that is, again, a big source of sugar. Next, we have fruit spins. And this one is obviously going to have artificial colors in them. Artificial colors are really a problematic ingredient. They have been shown in studies to increase ADHD type behaviors, inattention in children, and I don't believe they're good for adults either. They're made from petrochemicals, and really, why should we be eating that? And the answer is we shouldn't. So this one says 1.5 cups per serving. Again, don't think anybody's really measuring. It says 19 grams of sugar per serving, 18 grams of added sugar. That is a lot of added sugars. And when we look through them, we see right here, sugar is the #1 ingredient in this box. That means you are basically buying a box of sugar with a few other ingredients in it. This is not a great way to start your day or to feed yourself at any other point during your day. It also has corn syrup, which is another form of sugar, and then it includes natural flavor. Who knows what that is? It could be anything. I'm really not a fan of that. And then red number 40, yellow number 6, yellow number 5, blue number 1, and our favorite, not favorite, preservative, BHT. Then we open the box and pull out another box. Oops, it's stuck. Here we go. And this time we have Marshmallow Gems. And again, colorful on the box, on the picture, indicates probably that there is color in there. This is a 1 cup serving, and it has 14 grams of sugar per serving. 7 of those are added sugar grams. So let's see where all that sugar is coming from. It does have dehydrated marshmallows, which are made from sugar, modified cornstarch, corn syrup, dextrose, all of which are types of sugar, gelatin, and then red number 40, yellow number 6, yellow number 5, blue number 1. Not a great choice. It does have natural and artificial flavors. And then after the marshmallows, which of course are a lot of sugar in and of themselves, it says sugar. And then we have further down, contains 2% or less of brown sugar. So more sugar in this. I'm actually really surprised that it's only 7 grams of added sugar. I'm assuming that has to do with the fact that the marshmallows are not considered an added sugar. I'm not sure about that. And then this also has caramel color. So not a good choice. We don't want caramel colors in our food. Next, we have, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce this one. I think it's chia. Does it say on the box? Actually, I should have checked that. Pronounced Kia. Oh, I was right. Kia. Okay. So 1 cup is the serving size. It has 6 grams of sugar, 5 grams of added sugar. And this time the ingredient panel is up at the top. And we see that they use coconut palm sugar and honey. So this is a lower process, less sugar cereal. And it does have only 2 forms of sugar in it. But again, it's still an extruded grain. And when we take starches and we extrude them and break them down and turn them into something like a cereal, our body treats them like sugar. It goes through them very quickly, and so they can hit our bloodstream rather fast. So again, another reason why I'm not such a huge fan of cereals. All right, so now we have One of my friends dropped off a box of frosted mini wheats. I know this one's pretty popular. I don't know where it stands on the popularity scale. As I mentioned, Honey Nut Cheerios are number one. I'm sure these are probably pretty close just because they're little wheat biscuits wrapped in sugar. Lots of people seem to like that. So a serving size is 25 biscuits. Not quite sure how much that is. Do you count the number of biscuits you pull out of the box before you put them in the bowl and add milk? I don't think so. All right, so this has 12 grams of sugar, including 12 grams of added sugar. So that's quite a bit. You know, one of the things that drives me nuts about the food label is right here. It says 12 grams of sugar is 24% of your daily value. Folks, there is no daily value for sugar. We do not need sugar. We like it. We enjoy eating it, but we do not need it. 24% is almost 25% of the amount of sugar you might eat in a day if you were following the guidelines. But we don't need that much. So just keep that in mind when you're making food choices. When we look at the ingredients, we see two kinds of sugar in here, regular sugar and then brown rice syrup. And it's one of the things that I find is very sneaky on the part of the manufacturers because they use lots of different names for sugar in order to hide the amount of sugar that is in a product. And if you don't know all the names of sugar, then you wind up really getting stuck because you think you're not consuming as much as you really are. One way to find out the different names for sugar is to get a copy of my book, Pantry Principle, How to Read the Label and Understand What's Really in Your Food. And this also has BHT, so another one with BHT. There's a lot of boxes stuffed into this one because it was a very big box. The next one here, Heritage Flakes. And so I just want to point out some of the things that happens is food producers use front of package labeling, and we'll go back through some of these and I'll point out some of the things that they do, but they try to convince you that this is a healthy product. And it's an exploded grain. It has sugar. It is not deeply nourishing for your body. So it's really not a great choice. 1 cup of cereal seems to be the standard. And then it has 5 grams of sugar, including 5 grams of added sugar. And in the ingredient panel, this one has cane sugar, barley malt extract, which is another name for sugar, and honey. So it has 3 different kinds of sugar in this particular package. Next, lots of boxes. I'm so fortunate that I have so many people who were willing to share their boxes with me. So this one is Flax plus multi-bran flakes. And it is a 1 cup serving with 5 grams of sugar, including 5 grams of added sugar. And it contains cane sugar and barley malt extract. So the next one that we have is Rice Bits. And this is, I guess, like a more famous brand, but it's the store brand or the off brand for that. 1.5 cups per serving, 3 grams of sugar, including 3 grams of added sugar. But remember, these are exploded grains. This is a highly processed starch. And so even though the first ingredient is rice, it is processed rice, and your body is going to go through it very quickly. And then this contains sugar and molasses as its forms of sugar. It does use something called mixed tocopherols, not BHT, as a preservative. So that's a form of vitamin E. Could be a number of different things, but it's not BHT or BHA. 2 more. Organic toasted O's. And Cheerios, by the way, were not the number 1. I think they were the number 3 favorite cereal. So this is 1 2/3 cup serving. So even more than 1.5 from a previous one that we saw. It has 2 grams of sugar with 1 gram of added sugar, and the sugar all comes from organic cane sugar. But again, this is not going to give you the protein that you need to start your day. This is going to start you off on a blood sugar roller coaster. Really not a great choice. Oh, and that's it, because the last one was this big box. So now I'm going to pick a couple of them just at random to talk about some of the front of package labeling things that manufacturers do to try to convince you you're buying a good thing. So this particular cereal, they're talking about high fiber right up front. So it says, look, high fiber in the box, and look at this cute little cereal guy with his big, cute eyes. Isn't he adorable? Don't you just want to eat him up? That high fiber doesn't really matter when you're consuming that much sugar, because the sugar is just going to get to your system so quickly. The toasted oats don't really have a whole lot of front of package labeling. The rice bits, this is a lot of front of package labeling. So it says gluten-free, no high fructose corn syrup, no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So they're trying to pick buzzwords and key concepts that they think you're interested in when it comes to the breakfast cereal that you're choosing. And let's remember, this is a box of sugar. So it doesn't matter what they put here. It doesn't matter the things that they say or the pictures. Like, look, they put fruit on the box. They make it look so attractive. Most important thing you can do is flip it over and read this label and then make a decision as to whether that is really something you want to put in your body. All right, I'll pick a couple of the kid ones. This one has a little bit of front of package labeling on here. It says a spin-tastic breakfast cereal with natural fruit flavors. Natural really doesn't mean much. It can be so many things that really just makes it crazy, because you don't know what you're getting, and it could potentially be highly processed, but what it came from is considered a natural source, and so they claim that it's natural. And let's see what's on the cinnamon toast crunch. So this is a limited edition. They do that sometimes to make you think, ooh, can only get it for a little while. Whole wheat and rice cereal. So they're using that whole wheat word and the rice because they're thinking that's going to attract you. You're thinking it's whole grains, and so it's going to be a good thing. It is whole grain wheat, but it's still processed, so not a great choice. And then, of course, they put all kinds of fun stuff on the box for the kids, because they know that pester power is a very real thing in the cereal aisle. And a lot of parents, when they go shopping with their kids, if the kids want something and they bug their parents enough, eventually the parents get so exhausted and so frustrated, they're just trying to get out of the grocery store. They just want to feed their family. They're like, whatever. And they throw it in the box, in the cart. And this is not me saying anything that I haven't done. When my kids were little, oh my gosh, true confession here, we ate some of these junky cereals. This was before I became the ingredient guru, before I knew any better. And my kids liked them just as much as everybody else's kids did. And I didn't know. And I'm telling you this so that you will know, so that you won't do that. All right, let's see. We got a couple more here that we'll go through. Sorry, they're all on the floor now. Anything? Oh yeah, this is a good one. Provides 12 essential vitamins and minerals. That's a big front of package labels. So it's designed to make you feel good about what you're putting in there. But when we look at these are potentially, probably chemical analogs of the vitamins and minerals that they're throwing in here. So they may not really be very available to your body. It is better to eat real food, whole food, and get your vitamins and minerals that way. And then here we have this always organic. Organic is a big thing for a lot of people, so it attracts them. And then listing what the grains are, because a lot of people like the ancient grains, the kamut and the millet and the quinoa and spelt and those kinds of things. So they put all of that on the front of package to convince you that's what you want to buy. And then we have three more that we'll go over. So the Kia doesn't necessarily, oh, it says superfood, so that's potentially attractive. Sprouted grain, gluten-free, and then of course it has all of these little tags here. A lot of people are starting to pay more and more attention to what these little tags are: non-project GMO verified, the USDA organic, certified gluten-free, fair trade. And these are descriptors for this product. They are following manufacturing guidelines in order to earn these little logos here, but they also put it on the front because they want you to look at this and go, oh, I don't need to worry about what's in the box. I don't need to worry about what I'm eating because they have these little logos here. And you still need to pay attention to what's in what you eat. It's really important that you do that. And so that is my overview of cereal for today. Thank you to everybody who sent me a box. I really appreciate that you did that. And thank you to everybody for watching this. I hope you learned something, and I hope that it was really eye-opening and educational for you to think about how you start your day, or how you snack, or how, I know there are some people out there who choose to have cereal for dinner. And I really want to encourage you to think outside the box and choose real food instead. Take care, folks. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you go.